Hello, all you wonderful, fine YouTube people out there on the internet. Yes, you. I have something very exciting to announce today. This is Geeky Bits, a website I have launched where I am selling my own game tokens and game pieces. This has been several months in the making, and look, the main impetus for all of this is, of course, the recent announcement from Atomic Mass Games. If you're new here to the channel, you know that I've been covering X-Wing for quite a while, and the announcement that Atomic Mass Games is dropping support for both X-Wing and Armada has meant that people wanting to get into these games are going to have potentially quite a hard time finding some of the basic components. So I'm here to kind of help with that. Now, we're looking mainly at the sort of generic components, mainly game tokens, ship tokens, dials, all that kind of stuff. We're not talking about the very copyrighted pieces. We're not selling miniature ships, at least not at this stage of the game. We are focusing mainly on a range of tokens to replace the core ones from the game, and I've designed all of these from the ground up. These are basically simplified versions of the existing X-Wing tokens, and meant to be like just a clean analog replacement. And unlike other sort of premium token companies, we are actually including every single token in the game. Yes, we have made a fuse token, something that's very hard to find in acrylic, oddly enough. Basically, the idea here is you can get anything you need token-wise, so you don't have to buy a massive pack of all the basics, although we do offer that, but we are also offering everything as individual prices. I'm trying to keep this as accessible as possible and consumer-friendly as possible, so that there is a realistic way to get the components you need for X-Wing. Now, apart from tokens, probably the more exciting thing I want to talk about are the more sort of genericized versions of the mechanical game pieces. We have universal dials and universal ship tokens as well. Just having a quick look at the ship tokens, this is basically a very clean cut down version of the ship tokens. No, you don't have to have a piece of cardboard in a container for every single pilot. The idea here is you could use something like this and you would rely on things like ship indicators and all that kind of stuff to notify which pilot is which. I always felt in the transition to 2nd edition, FFG missed a trick by not doing something like this. There is, in my opinion, frankly, way too much information on the official ship tokens, and as a result, you just need to house and store way too many of them. I'm sure a lot of long-time X-Wing players can agree with that. For the time being, we're just looking at the super trimmed down basic versions of these, but there's also the consideration of adding extra colors, details, that kind of stuff. I just wanted to make sure that we got out the super generic ones first, as they are going to be the most applicable to most people. It just means you need as many large ship tokens as the largest possible amount of large ships you could fly, and you're pretty much good to go. That's the idea. And having a look at these universal indicators, now this is probably the thing I'm most proud of at this point. These are 2 wheel style dials. Through the combination of the symbols on these 2 wheels can dial up any potential maneuver in the game. One wheel is for speed, including reverse, indicated here by the word rev, and bearing as well. So again, super generic, something you can use with any ship in the game. And the simple idea is if you don't have access to all the dials, so you've got a collection and there's some stuff missing, or you're just sick of trying to find every single dial. Again, I go back to the analogy of the box of cardboard that everyone has now. You only need to have as many of these as the most ships you'll ever fly. If you like to fly 4 ship lists, you can just take 4 of these and you're pretty much good to go. And just on how these have been manufactured as well, I'll go into more detail on this in a separate video, but these are not just another recast version of the pop style rivet that companies like WizKids and FFG have used in the past. These are actually ratcheting nylon rivets, and these can be pressed together, and most importantly, they are a commercially available part. So it's not like we have to manufacture anything complicated. It's basically just machine cut acrylic, very accessible kind of manufacturing process. And yeah, as a result, in my opinion, we can offer some pretty decent prices. That's kind of what the whole thing is about here. The idea on the website is we can offer anything as a single item, or if you buy in bulk, there's a discount associated with that. If you have a look through the website, you'll see what I mean by that. especially when it comes to the small tokens. Basically, yes, the single item price on a showing here is $1.25, but if you buy 10 or more of them, which I imagine most orders containing small tokens will have, they go down to $1 Australian each. Just on the price as well, we have a set shipping cost of $10 Australian for anything domestic and for anything around the rest of the world, which currently is the USA, Canada, New Zealand, Singapore, and the UK. I'm working on enabling access to more countries very, very soon. That will be $20 Australian or $14 US. All orders in excess of $50 Australian gets a $10 Australian discount on the shipping, and all orders in excess of $100 Australian gets a $20 discount, which means all orders in excess of $100 are totally free in terms of shipping. And in terms of what we've got on the store right now, it's pretty much just this basic range of X-Wing stuff. Now, I do have a range of Star Wars Unlimited tokens that I've been working on. That's almost entirely finished. I've got most of it manufactured already. I just want to make sure before I add that to the website, I actually have the full range. I don't want to start adding it on piecemeal and have people order bits and pieces and then get annoyed because they wish they waited for the initiative token that I've been working on, stuff like that. So those will be on the website very, very soon. But beyond that, I really want to encourage people to help by jumping on the Discord, commenting on this video below, and just starting the conversation about what we actually need. Not just for X-Wing, although that is the main reason I started doing this, but having a real conversation about what would help access people to certain games, in terms of like basic beginner sets, or even what you want in terms of more premium options. I do like, even if things are not fancy, just for myself, having acrylic tokens. Ever since getting into manufacturing this kind of stuff, I've been slowly replacing all the tokens in the games I play, for example. And that's really the main thing I want to be working on. We are looking at games like Marvel Crisis Protocol, Shatterpoint, all those kinds of stuff. So there is basically an easier entry into those games without having to buy a core set, which contains units that you may or may not want as a new player. So yes, link for the website down in the description below, as well as Discord where you can come and join in the conversation, www.geekybits.com.au. Come check it out and yeah, get in soon if you want to order stuff by the holidays. And just on a more personal level as well, I do want to talk about sort of one of the big reasons I'm doing this kind of thing, to keep the channel here more sustainable. I did make the decision recently to close the Patreon for the channel. And there's a number of reasons behind that. One of the big things is we haven't had continuous content out for a very long time. And I don't feel like that's fair asking people for continuous money. And more to the point, on a personal level, if you've been watching a lot of the content on the channel, I've spoken about, you know, coming out as neurodivergent, getting my ADHD diagnosis and that kind of stuff. I'm generally not a fan of those subscription type services because of the business model involved. To me, it is kind of predatory. It does rely to some extent on people forgetting they have these services and paying these monthly bills while forgetting it. It's not always easy to keep track of all these things. In fact, I would say it's quite difficult in general, even for a person that doesn't have ADHD. And for that reason, it's a business model I want to rely on less and less, and hopefully not sort of enter into that as like a main source of income again. I may at some point, I'm not ruling it out entirely, but I think if I did, I'd have to be very careful about the way I do it and make sure that there is something good constantly being offered. And, you know, I guess if there's a way to make people more aware that they're spending money every month and people don't forget that, that'd make me feel a bit better about the whole thing as well. But in the meantime, the idea that I can sort of run this business parallel to the channel, give people a sort of more one-to-one interaction, actually selling something that I'm quite into, quite passionate about. It's been a lot of fun learning how to do all this kind of stuff. I'm still learning a lot. I'm learning how to cut different kinds of materials and that kind of stuff. Also, maybe looking at different manufacturing kind of stuff. It's been a lot of fun, and it's something that actually really drives me. On a personal level, honestly, I haven't really had something like this that has driven me for quite a while. So I'm really wanting to make sure I jump into this head first and really make a go of this. I'm very serious about making it successful. And beyond that as well, I'll be making some videos in the near future about some of these products specifically. I may make a separate channel just for sort of videos specific to selling stuff on the website, you know, basic product care, that kind of stuff. Stuff that we don't really need here on the main feed. But for those of you interested in learning about this kind of stuff, learning about, you know, making hobbyist CNC tools tokens, or even getting into this kind of business itself, I would like to make a bit of content on how to make this kind of stuff. Getting tokens to be double-sided alone was a huge learning curve, and I kind of wish there was some video content that could have helped me. So maybe I can help the next person in that kind of situation. Okay, I've rambled on for far too long. I'll talk way more about this stuff in future videos. In the meantime, don't forget to like and subscribe. But most importantly, www.geekybits.com.au. Down in the description. Put it up in the address bar right there. Type that in. Have a look. Enjoy yourselves and jump on the Discord. Very, very excited about all of this, and I look forward to seeing you all in the very near future. Catch you later, guys.